Till then. Hello, and welcome to another story time where I tell stories just to make you laugh. And last time, I talked a lot about cleaning while doing chores, and it got me thinking more chores. No, but it did get me thinking about the first time I moved out. And the first time I moved out, I think, I was I got yo yoed to this whole doing chores things. Because when I moved out and I rented a room in a house, right? And I rented this room and I thought, perfect. This is the first time where I now understood that I get to do chores for myself, right? Because when you're a kid, you're doing chores for everybody else. And that's what kind of like blows. Because you're like, I didn't make this mess. I didn't eat all this food. I don't want to make all this food. I don't want to do all these things. Why can't I just take care of myself? I could just eat a bowl of cereal for breakfast, lunch, and dinner and not have to touch the kitchen. That would be my ideal thing. But you people keep coming in here and then you're telling me that I got to clean it. I don't want to do this anymore. So when I moved out, I figured, oh, perfect. Now you just get to do the chores. And I realized, it was coming to that realization. Well, if I would have focused on doing the chores when I was a kid, I might have understood that later on you have to do the chores still. Like, they don't go away. You're like, why am I keep doing all this work for these people? Can't these people do it? And you don't realize that one day you're those people. And if you don't do that, no one does it. And so when I first moved out, I moved out and I was like, all right, I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it my style. If I eat a bowl of cereal and leave it in the sink for a little bit, well, when you rent a room in a house and there's other people in there, sometimes that's not the best way to go about it. I had no idea. I was totally blindsided. One day, like I was living there for a few weeks and I hadn't met everybody else who had lived there because some people were out, whatever. We all know the case. But all of a sudden, I come home and they're like, all right, cool. Tomorrow night at whatever, we're having a roommate meeting. And I was like, what is that? Is that I actually, because I was so naive, thought it was something like fun. I was like, oh, cool. I get to meet everybody and we're all gonna like chat for the first time in the same room since we all live here and kind of figure out what is all this. And oh, that was like a terrifying intervention. Those things are roommate meet. When anyone says meeting, that can't be good. Hey, we're about to have a meeting. Oh, well, I don't want to be in that one. Roommate meeting, I figured couldn't be that bad. It was like a blindsided intervention. I open up the door like the next day to come home, and they're all just like sitting there, like staring at the door that I'm walking into. There might as well just been a banner on the back. Intervention. Like, what is happening? I walk in, they're like, all right, now that we're all here, it's time to talk about your cleaning habits. What? And it was into a whole 9 yards. And I was like, well, this is interesting because, but looking back at first, you go, that's terrifying. And it really helped shape me to do some chores and do some things and maybe think twice about having roommates. But then you think, well, the alternative is kind of what, most people find themselves in now. And we don't have to say it, but I just pause because we all know it's probably not going to be good. But what I find myself in now is a strictly dictatorship, which I guess that's probably way too harsh and also way too true, but also way too harsh because, you trade the whole having a meeting and going, hey, we would like for you to do some of these things. And what I found out is if you don't do those things, they just, they keep having meetings, that's for sure. And then I think a couple of them took some of my sodas. I don't know why. Like, I'm not holding on to a grudge. I guess I am. It's been a very long time, but I don't know why I'm bringing that up. But I remember we kept having these meetings about to clean this place, or that I needed to clean this place, or something or other, or that whatever. And I was like, well, this is interesting because we're talking about each other's spaces and this and that and everything. And my food keeps disappearing, let alone my sodas. Now I'm just adding things onto it. I'm just kidding. So, but now I'm in a dictatorship. Well, okay, I gotta really stop using that. But now I'm in like, she's the boss. I went from a team and I could at least sit and be like, hey, well, that wasn't my bowl of cereal. But now it doesn't matter if it's my bowl or her bowl. I got to clean it. It's not that now I get both. Right. Before I was just like, oh, I defended my stuff. But now not only do I have to do my stuff, I'll have to do more work because of my misstep. However, one thing I will say, and one reason why, sometimes I get a little like on the other side about cleaning is because while all that did happen, right? And you figure, okay, now I've been set straight and I don't have to worry about cleaning because I'm going to be consistent because it matters to these people. Yeah, I care. You're living with other people. And I eventually understood that. But then after all that, and there were no more meetings, right? There were no more meetings. I don't have meetings now. I just get told what to do. But there were no more meetings. And so I figured, all right, now I'm good. And so, but I realized something that the whole time I was living there, the landlord only showed up like once a month to collect, rent and bills and everything like that. He didn't live on the property. And the other roommates didn't really live there that often. And once the meeting stopped, I was in the clear. So I figured, well, I've never lived on my own and now I've got all this meeting stuff out of the way. Let's throw a shindig. And I threw a party. And it was glorious. Well, it was glorious to me because I had passed out. That's how much I figured everybody had fun because of the way the state of the place was left when I woke up. I was having such a good time that I apparently at one point had gotten. I thought this was a good idea, a mixing bowl and Dos Equis beer. I apologize, and Fireball. Also apologize. Put it in the mixing bowl. I don't know why I'm apologizing. Then took a whisk because I figured I like waffles. I started mixing it together and drinking it just out of the bowl, out of this giant bowl. And clearly I didn't last long. And so when I woke up, the whole place, I'm talking like it was all tile. And I'm talking like every place was covered in alcohol, which at first I figured could have been everybody else partying. But now that I realized I was drinking out of a bowl, it could have been me the whole time. But anyways, this place was a mess. And I'm telling you, like, like when you wake up and you're like, well, I don't even want to. You try to close your eyes and wish this place wasn't yours. Like, that's what I tried to do. I was like, clean. Nope. And then I opened up my eyes again. There was like some random person sleeping on the couch. I'm like, oh no, go away. No, person's still there. House still a mess. This can't be good at all. I got to clean this. And I figured, all right, I can pull myself together. We've been through enough meetings. I have. And so I started cleaning. Well, I was about to until I heard a knock at the door. And I went, oh no, that's got to be the landlord, right? Like who else knocks at this place? It was one of those like townhomes where every place looked the same to the point where, well, and this is also just kind of due to my eyesight, but to the point where one night I was, coming home with somebody and I pulled up to the wrong house, but I thought it was my house because they all looked the same. So I got out all with confidence, as you would if it's your house. You wouldn't feel unconfident walking up to your own front door. I was like, hey, just let me walk into this front door, open up the garage, and we'll pull this car in here. And I walk up to the door and and you like realize, but you can't realize too much because there's somebody else watching you going, this person doesn't know how to get in their own front door. So don't act too freaked out, but you're like, this isn't mine. So you get back in the car and then quickly put it in the drive and drive 2 feet. And then there's my house. And I figured, oh no, it's either a landlord or somebody last. So I open up the door and it's this person that I'd never seen before. Right. And I was like, hello, can I help you? And apparently the person that was there to clean the house. And I went, not this house. You don't want anything to do in here. Plus, I've lived here for a few months. We've never had anybody cleaning here. So this must be one of those mistaken, townhome situations. Less awkward than what happened to me, but still. No. I'm here to clean the house. And the person kind of explained like, oh, now that all the rooms were being rented out, the cleaning lady or the cleaning person was hired, or the cleaning service was back on queue. And I was oh, well, this is not a good day to come back on the first day. This is not to restart. I mean, this is not a good. Okay. So I go, oh well, I kind of made I was honest. You got to be honest in this situation. So I go, oh, I kind of made a giant mess, and let me clean for a little bit, and then you're more than welcome. Like, I was gonna help or assist or do whatever I can, and she kind of did the same thing I did, like looked around to make sure she was at the right house, but she was looking around, I don't know, maybe for the landlord, because she looked back at me and was like, well, actually, I showed up late, so I will clean all of this if you don't say anything. And I'm like, let me get this straight. You'll clean, the tile, and okay. So I went back upstairs and passed out, and I woke up a few hours later, spotless. I'm telling you, the red Solo cups, those plastic red Solo cups, clean. The ping pong balls or whatever, clean. I'm saying like top to bottom service. I was so stunned. And then I was like, well, this is kind of cool. It happened 3 more times. I figured it can't happen again. It happened 3 more times. Every time I would throw a party, she would just show up. She would just show up late the next day, and she would just clean everything. I didn't mean to. I never like contacted her or anything. Every time I threw a party, it was the next day. She'd show up. Oh, I was late. Oh, well, I made a mess, and there you go. So on the one hand, at first I had all those meetings, and I was taught, do the chores. They're your chores, and you live with other people, and that helped me later on in my current situation. But then I got a little blindsided, and I've always told my girlfriend, if we ever make it to a point where we can have a cleaning service, I mean, that's the way to go. Not that I want to plan a bunch of parties when these people come, because that's horrible. And I always tried to clean. No, well, I guess you couldn't really clean in those situations, because by the time I realized that the person was here, the mess had already been made, and there was no time for me to do anything. But anyways, so now what do I do? Well, I mean, I now know what I do now, because I don't have any say. There's no meeting, and there's no person to clean. It's just me. And if I don't do it, well, I should probably go do it now, because I've been talking to you for so long. There's probably something else I got to go and clean. Well, and with that, one day I might get this all worked out. I hope you guys took a laugh, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Later.